What's up, YouTube? What's up, YouTube? How y'all doing? This your boy ReeksNetwork. Basically, I'll be covering a variety of topics out here. Variety. I won't be starting and stopping at nothing, but my main focus is sports today. And today, I just wanted to get y'all together because I feel like the NBA has some teams that do some amazing freaking things, and then you got some teams that just fumble the bag over and over again, and then you got the teams that just seems extremely unlucky, and they never do anything, even if they tried. And today, I just wanted to make a nice little YouTube video giving my perspective on the current state of these teams, top to bottom, the best run franchises to the worst run franchises. I will be giving slight context for history based off this rating, but the main focus would be how they are being ran today because teams run through ownership groups, and I don't want to give them credit for the past ownership group completely versus the present ownership group. So I'd say I'd put about 20% stock in the entire team's history, but most of the stock will be coming from current day past 10 to 25 years. You know what I mean? And where they've been since the 2000s era, possibly, maybe since the 90s. We're gonna give some credit towards the history, but for the most part, we're gonna be looking at how they are acting and moving around today and in recent history. And I'm just gonna start it off with the Atlanta Hawks. Where are you? The Atlanta Hawks. This is a team that's been completely sat up in the middle of absolute mediocrity from the good teams from Joe Johnson and Jeff Teagues, even back in the day with Dominique. Just mediocrity. Let me do something before I even give this a real review on the Atlanta Hawks, because honestly, if they had an I don't care tab, that's what the fuck I would put them in. No disrespect to the Hawks, but they would go into a who cares tab if we're going to be completely honest. Let's check the Hawks resume. 50 finals appearances. 50 playoff appearances, one finals appearances in 1969, one championship in 1958 with zero MVPs. If this is not mediocrity, because we're not even going to put stock inside that 1958 championship, but hear me out with the Hawks. I'm going to put them in C tier only because they do consistently compete and try to make the playoffs. And they have made great playoff runs before, but that's the best I can give them. It's C tier. Next up will be Boston Celtics. Obviously, we know what's up with the Celtics, and don't get me wrong, I cannot stand the Celtics. Hate them, hate their guts, but there's really not too much to say here. They're exceptionally run franchise from top to bottom throughout history. Okay. Then we got the Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets / New Jersey Nets. If I had to rank them, give me a moment to really think about the Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets have 36 playoff appearances, 2 finals appearances back with J Kidd, and they had the little runs with Darren Williams, Joe Johnson, and all of them up until the KD super teams with James Harden, Kyrie Irving, up until the day where they're in tank mode. They have 0 championships, 0 MVPs. If we're going purely off the past 25 years, the Brooklyn Nets, I'd also say it would be a C tier, but definitely below the Atlanta Hawks. Next up, Charlotte Hornets. I'm gonna give y'all some insight. I'm definitely a Sixers fan, which you will see my heart hurts because I'm a Sixers fan. But I stay in Charlotte. And let's just be for real. Charlotte Hornets, terrible, terrible ran franchise. Terrible ran franchise. What luck have they had in the past 25 years? I understand the 90s run Muggsy Bogues, Larry Johnson, all them, but that was mediocre. And ever since they've been going, this team is just terrible. Let's just be for real. There's no point in even thinking about them too much. The Chicago Bulls. The Chicago Bulls. My context for them. We all know Chicago. D Rose, Michael Jordan. You know what I mean? Scottie Pippen. But I'm a be extremely objective on this one because I believe Michael Jordan's the GOAT. And they had the GOAT. So they got 6 rings, 6 championships, 6 finals MVP appearances, and 6 MVPs, 35 playoff appearances. I'm not gonna give all that credit to the ownership group because they had the GOAT. And if I'm gonna be for real, they fumbled the D Rose era. I know D Rose got injured, and they've just been skating in mediocrity from DeMar DeRozan and Zach Levine, and now what they have. But I do respect the fact that they're not tanking, and they're very rarely at the bottom of the league, always competing to try to make the playoffs. But it's another team that's just skating through mediocrity, and I would have to say Chicago. Hmm. Are they B tier? No. No, there's no way we could put Chicago in a B tier team. The real question is, are they more mediocre than the Hawks or less mediocre than the Hawks? That's a tough question. I'd have to put Chicago. I'm gonna put C tier Chicago just for the era with Joe Noah, Luau Dang, and I believe they're neck and neck with the Hawks. But since they did produce the MVP out of Chicago, I'm gonna get them C tier. Okay. Then we got the Cleveland Cavaliers. Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cleveland Cavaliers. Where are you guys? Here you go. All right. The Cleveland Cavaliers actually have a pretty decent history. 5 finals appearances, 22 playoff appearances, 1 championship, 1 MVP. I gotta give the Cavs some credit because yeah, they had those years post LeBron that was absolutely terrible, and they had some years pre LeBron that was absolutely terrible. But they made the finals with LeBron, won a ring with LeBron, centered, got Kyrie, got Kevin Love, did what they were supposed to do when they was tanking, and now even today they have a solid team that was just on the cusp. They thought they was a finals bound team this past Cleveland Cavaliers with Donovan Mitchell and them. I am going to put the Cleveland Cavaliers. Ooh, this is tough because low key, nah, I feel like they would have to make one more push to get an A tier. For now, I put them high B tier. Cleveland Cavaliers are pretty straight. They rebounded after LeBron left the second time, and they did win a championship with LeBron. And they might have won two if it wasn't for injuries. And on top of that, the Kevin Durant saga. You understand? So I put them at B tier. I put them at B tier. Okay, then we have the Dallas Mavericks. The Dallas Mavericks. The Dallas Mavericks have also a decent history: 36 playoff appearances, 2 finals appearances, 3 finals appearances actually, and 1 championship. And they produced 1 MVP. I will have to say the Mavericks are A tier. They're A tier, not because of the lack of championships, but because of the constant ability to transition from era to era. I'm not saying championships is the ultimate criteria for what makes a great franchise. Because if you have a great player and he stays long term, you're gonna win more. I just feel like with that Dirk era, they was always in contention. Didn't always win. They managed to pull one out of Dirk, and then they got Luca, and now they're with Cooper Flag, Anthony Davis, Kyrie Irving. I understand that's a controversial move, but the Mavs are pretty darn good. I may put them to B tier. I may have to keep them in B tier. The Mavericks. I believe the Mavericks I actually believe the Mavericks is a good franchise. I think their outlook has been good. I think they do. I think they try their best. Like it's crazy to say, but some of these franchises just don't seem like they try their freaking best at all. Let me put it back. Then we got the Denver Nuggets. The Denver Nuggets. The Denver Nuggets with Jokic from Melo to Dikembe to the years where they had Ty Lawson, Andre Iguodala. This team has always been middle of the pack, high tier. I have to give the Nuggets. It's a slept on team. I have to give the Nuggets an A tier. I have to give the Nuggets an A tier. They only have one championship and 39 finals appearances. But if you really think about the Nuggets' history as a franchise, pre Jokic, they had the Iguodala, they had Ty Lawson, and they was winning 50, 40 to 50 games, 40 to 55 games every single season. And they transitioned out of the Carmelo Anthony era, and it ultimately led them to a Nikola Jokic. And I just feel like they're a great franchise. I'm not saying they're the most winningest franchise of all time, but they're a great franchise. And remember, the context is the past 20, 25 years for the most part, and just a little nod for the extreme history. But the past 20, 25 years, ever since they got Carmelo, I just feel like this has been a team that's constantly been in the mix. And even though they've only won one, they've constantly been in the mix and put their team in position to succeed. I would have to argue they're A tier. Um, okay. And then we got the Detroit Pistons. This is tough. This is tough. Detroit Pistons. So we got the era with, if we're talking past 25 years, we got the Ben Wallace, Chauncey Billups, Tayshaun Prince, Rip Hamilton era, where they did win a championship and knocked off the Lakers. We had the eras where they sucked for years, where they had Andre Drummond and Blake Griffin, and we're like, what the fuck are they doing? And then we had these past couple years where they were tanking the past couple years, and now ultimately it seems like they're turning their franchise around, and it is actually looking pretty good in Detroit. So for Detroit, I'm going to put them. I don't want to give them B tier, but since I believe that their future is looking bright, I'm gonna give them B tier because of the fact that yes, it's okay to be a bad team and tank with a purpose and then turn it around. That's what teams do. That's fine, you know. And I believe just based off the runs they had in the past 25 years with the Chauncey Billups and Rip Hamilton and Tayshaun Prince, maybe after they had a terrible run of terrible success, but I consider them low B tier. I'll probably fill in a couple teams to get in front of them, or should I could put them at high C? And remember, the reason why a team like the Bulls would be below the Pistons is because I am heavily considering their outlook and their overall process of trying to get to be a competitive team. And I do believe that being in mediocrity, as the Bulls, Hawks, and Nets have done, will breed even more mediocrity, you know? And while the Pistons may have tanked, they definitely this year have surpassed all three of these teams. And for the foreseeable future, seems like they will continue to pass it. If we're talking past 25 years, they have a championship in the past 25 years. So I will go low B tier. Okay. Then we got the Golden State Warriors. Is this even a question? They are absolutely there. I love the Warriors. I love Steph Curry. I love Klay Thompson. I love Draymond Green. But the KD era pissed me the freak off. And the real question is, in the past 25 years, I have to say that this is obviously the best. Well, I definitely in the past, what is 2025? In the past 10 to 15 years, this is absolutely the best ran franchise in the past 15 years. They are always figuring it out. They're always swapping something for something new, and injuries have played a part in their demise this year. And I just believe in this. This is one of the teams you just always believe in. You know, like I believe even after this season, they'll get that. They'll get it right. They got Steph and Jimmy, aging, Draymond. I mean, are they perfect? No, I wouldn't put them past the Celtics. I can't. I understand they won more championships than the Celtics, but I'm telling you, this is an organization rank. It's not a players rank. Okay? And if we're going off the idea that they had Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson, ooh, that's tough. Because they did get them boys. They set it up the way they can get them boys. Yeah, we're doing my context. If I'm being recency bias and my context is the recent history, the Celtics are great and the Warriors are great. I would have to say the outlook of the Celtics is at this point still higher. The Celtics did get 2 rings in this past 2 decades, but we do have to give credit what credit is due. The Warriors of our era, S tier. It doesn't get much. It doesn't get better than that. Let's be for real. Then we got the Houston Rockets. Houston Rockets. The Houston Rockets are actually. I understand the Houston Rockets have not captured a championship inside the past 25 years, but this is a well-run franchise. I mean, they had the Tracy McGrady, Yao Ming era, transitioned that into a James Harden era. They had their years at the bottom of the league, and now they're back with one of the most vibrant young rising teams with plenty of assets to 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 have a bright future. Houston Rockets is a well-run franchise. No rings because, like I said, if you aren't able to land those LeBrons, those Currys, those MJs, then you might not win a ring. You know what I mean? They had Harden, but let's be for real. Harden is a street ball superstar NBA player, and they did their thing with Harden. You know, they revolutionized him, got him some MVPs, and the Rockets are a well-run franchise. They are. When they tank, they're at the bottom of the league for a second, then they get back on it, and they turn their franchise around. I am going to give the Houston Rockets B tier below the Cleveland Cavaliers. Then we have the Indiana Pacers. The Indiana Pacers have 51 playoff appearances, one final appearance in 2000, and 0 championships. And that still does not make them a bad franchise. The Indiana Pacers have a rich history, very rich history from Reggie Miller to, even though that's out of my context for this video, I'm just saying they've always meddled the line and pushed limits with the Paul George era. They even had a Jermaine O'Neal era, dare I say. You know, they've always been mediocre to challenging team to face. And even today, you see where Tyrese Halliburton's doing, man. They're in the Eastern Conference Finals, and I'm actually rooting for the Pacers to go all the way, the underdog team. I really am. The Pacers have always been a tough challenge and always have it for a smaller market. We have to use context of these teams. Like, if you're a smaller market, you're not getting the same looks. So their ability to pick players out the draft and make trades and constantly be a competitive team for the Pacers, I have to consider that. I have to consider that. They did not get LeBron like the Cleveland Cavaliers. They did not get Harden like this team they have, Jokic or Dirk, but they do find a way consistently to put a good team out there. And we know the Cavs, if they didn't land LeBron, is a terrible ran franchise. So I will actually be putting the Pacers above the Cavs and the Rockets, only for the fact that these teams had MVPs on them. And we know LeBron hates the Cav organization, so he went back there out of the goodness of his heart. This is not the most luxurious, so I know it might be some Cavs fan out there like, why? But feel free in the comments to tell me if I'm right or wrong about that, because I'm only giving my point of view here. Indiana Pacers, solid ran organization, no championships, but they're solid. I give them some credit. Then we have the Los Angeles Clippers. Honestly, the Los Angeles Clippers with Kawhi, Paul George from the Blake Griffin Lob City era. And we all know before that, they were absolutely trash for years. How well are they run today? Well, I'll tell you. They traded Shea Gilgeous-Alexander for Paul George. And now Paul George ends up walking and they have James Harden. And I understand they're finding ways to be competitive. But I mean, this team is not the greatest ran franchise. They're LA's little brother. I'm going to put the Clippers in a C tier. I understand they have those high value players like Harden and Kawhi, but those guys went there because it's LA and not because they have an amazing organization. Let's be for real. C tier. C tier at best. Okay, and then we have the Los Angeles Lakers. This is a very complex one for me because how much how much of the market are we going to just give to the reason why they always land in a star player? The fact that it's just LA. You know what I mean? Like even with the Clippers, them getting Kawhi and Paul George in this era, like it's because they're LA. And then they are the Lakers. I guess that does speak volumes to the history of the team of why people want to go there. But if we're going to be debative, when the Lakers do get their shot, they tend to seize the opportunity. And it's like when they're skating in mediocrity, they look really bad. You know, we had Kobe Bryant era, Shaq era, then we had LeBron James, and now we have Luka Doncic. It does sometimes feel more like Lakers lore and Lakers luck rather than a genius executive at the top doing these pulling these moves. I am going to put the Lakers in B tier. The only reason I'm doing that is because this is tough, man. I don't want to disrespect the Lakers like that, man. They have the second most championships in NBA history, but I am going off the recency. And I mean, they did give Kobe five, man, but they fumbled the bag with Shaq and Kobe. You know what I mean? They fumbled the bag with Shaq and Kobe, man. And even after Kobe, his extended prime after those two rings, I just feel like they fumbled the bag then. They didn't put the proper pieces around Kobe. They traded for Dwight and Steve Nash, and it destroyed the team. They were in tank mode for years. And it's like LeBron just comes and gives them a pick me up. And then they trade away all their young talent to please LeBron. And from Lonzo Ball to Julius Randle to Alex Caruso to Josh Hart, like Brandon Ingram, these guys are killing it. Zubac even. These guys are killing in the league today. You know, they always sacrificing everything for a star. I mean, I give them credit because they did get a ring for it. But as of right now, we're talking about right now, what is their outlook? I mean, they did just get freaking Luka Doncic. So let me chill. We got to put Lakers in the A tier, man. Because how are they doing this? Why are they doing this? It doesn't feel real. Like maybe a Warriors, Celtics who had much more methodical methods to get to the top. But the Lakers, we can't deny them. We cannot deny them. I give them A tier. In the past 25 years, I cannot say they're a better run organization over the Warriors and maybe not even the Celtics because I'm not looking just at the rings. I'm looking at the genius moves that are made to put your team in positions in success. It's almost like the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat has no championships. Well, with the Jimmy Butler era, but we put so much credit for the Miami Heat because of how they've been able to find undrafted talent and bring them to the top and make it far with them. I mean, if I'm dumb and crazy, y'all just tell me up in the comments, but I gotta put Lakers A tier. I'm not. I don't respect how the league always prefers them over the rest of the rest of the teams in the league. So that's why I put them below the Warriors and the Celtics. Then we had the Memphis Grizzlies. The Memphis Grizzlies. We had the grit and grind era leading into the John Morant era. Before that, garbage, Pau Gasol. I will put the Grizzlies in a B tier. I'm gonna put them below the Cavs, the Pacers. Real question is, should they go below, ahead, or before the Rockets? 'Cause the Rockets had their good years. I'm gonna put them below the Rockets too. Memphis B tier team. I really like Memphis. I respect Memphis. B tier, B tier. And then we got the Miami Heat, as we just spoke. I personally believe the Miami Heat is an excellently ran franchise. I understand that it's like you would think Miami would be able to get more stars, so I guess that would be a knock on them. You know, I think we might do exaggerate Heat culture sometimes, but The fact that they did get Dwayne Wade and Shaquille O'Neal ring and LeBron James, and then they transition into a Jimmy Butler era to where they are competitive, and now they don't have Jimmy Butler, sadly. But I will give Miami a A tier. I think that they're just always one piece away. Lately, it seems like they are never getting that piece, but but I will put Miami as a A tier team. I just have hope and faith in that team to even turn it around from where they at now with Bam and Tyler. I just feel like something's there always for where, and I might be wrong, but the Heat in the past recent history have been a really well run franchise. If we're going from LeBron James era to today, they've been pretty decent. Two finals appearances with a Jimmy Butler and a Bam Adebayo. I mean, I can't put them past the Nuggets though, and I dare actually put the Nuggets above the Mavericks. Okay, then we got the Milwaukee Bucks, Giannis and them. Recency history, man. Giannis. This is another franchise where like small market, but I know they got a championship with Giannis, man. But I feel like they're fumbling the bag before our very eyes. They trade away Drew Holiday for Lillard, trying to hit a home run, and you got Giannis on the island. Giannis is considering leaving every year at this point, and you have a guy who really wants to stay in your city, but you're making inaccurate moves that making him consider leaving. Milwaukee, how good of a franchise is Milwaukee? I mean, they did select Giannis. Before Giannis, what was their stilo? Brandon Jennings, Monte Ellis, Andrew Bogut. I mean, historically, we're not gonna go that far back. I told y'all I'm not giving that much credit towards the Kareem and Oscar Robertson. I'm not doing that. So we're talking about modern recent history. Man, the Milwaukee Bucks, I believe Giannis carried. I think that all right, I'm gonna give them credit for that one ring they got. I'm gonna give them credit for that one ring they got. I'm gonna put Milwaukee at a high B tier. The reason why I don't put them past a team like the Heat is because the Heat seems like a long term stable franchise, while Milwaukee seems like a team that got this superstar, Giannis, and it looks like they're gonna lose him. They and Giannis brought them that ring, so I do put more stock in the fact that they had Giannis over the fact that they're actually a great franchise. I give them credit for choosing Giannis though. He's here. Okay. The Minnesota Timberwolves. Minnesota Timberwolves. How good of a franchise is the T Wolves? Good question. For a long time, they would have been D tier. After Kevin Garnett era, they was out the playoffs for a long time. They finally started to rebound. I mean, I guess with Kevin Love, they were still missing the playoffs, and then they had Carl Towns and Wiggins, and they was barely making the playoffs with them. And then they had Jimmy Butler come, made it for 1 year, and but now they have Anthony Edwards, and I'm going to give a lot of stock to their future because they have Anthony Edwards. They also did freaking trade for Rudy Gobert in one of the most weirdest trades of all time. So these are the moments where I gotta say, how much credit am I giving the individual player for the team's success versus the organization as a whole? Because them getting a generational talent like Anthony Edwards will make your team better. Obviously, you get credit for picking that player, but he also was the first pick because you were the worst team in the league. He was the clear cut choice. I feel like a casual fan could have made the decision to pick Anthony Edwards. You know what I mean? Like outside of that, like are they making the greatest decisions? I mean, they have some good role players. Randall was good. They traded Randall for Cat for Randall. Arguably, don't know if that's a good idea. I mean, both teams are flaming out right now at the same time. Um, I'm not. I just don't know how good of a ran franchise. I do believe in their future right now, but I cannot give them a S. I cannot give them an A. I can give them. Hmm. I'm sorry. If we're going to pass 10, 25 years, I'll put them right above the Rockets. I think their future is bright. I think this is where the accurate spot where they land. I mean, they still have. I mean, I like Mike Conley, but they still haven't even got a younger, vibrant point guard for Ant. You know, they traded everything, all they picks for Gobert. They got rid of Cat for Randall, and I mean, we were not. Randall's playing good, but you know they do have Nas Reed and Jaden McDaniels and DiVincenzo and all these players, but this is just a moderately good franchise. I wouldn't give them bad. I wouldn't give them great. All right. We got the New Orleans Pelicans. Good lord. Oh, good lord. Pelicans. I mean, they had the Chris Paul era. We can give them that. Anthony Davis era. And they're still at the bottom. I'm sorry. This is an absolute fumble of talent here. The fact that they did have Chris Paul, fumbled that and turned it into Davis and never turned that into anything. And now they have a Zion, DeJounte Murray, and CJ McCollum. They had Drew Holiday, Lonzo Ball. A lot of talent has come through this team. And they consistently fumble the talent. It's a bad run franchise. Terrible. They consistently fumble the talent. I know Zion's been injured, but that's not even an excuse for the amount of talent that's ran through this team and how bad they still are to this day. Bad run franchise. Get them out of here. The New York Knicks. And we all know the Knicks, up until these past couple years, been looked at as a goofy team for many of reasons. And it's another case here with the Knicks where, like, yeah, they're finally making some right decisions. But they still are disappointing right now too. They got lucky with Jalen Brunson taking a hometown, not even a hometown because he's not from New York, but he took a generous discount that allowed them to get more players. And honestly, I do think they spread themselves too thin trying to get all these high level role players instead of another solidified guy. Like Mikal Bridges, they gave up something like 4 or 5 first round picks for him. Anunoby, you know, these are great players, but it's like you're trying to spread yourself too thin for guys who are simply just high level role players. And you got Carlton Towns and Brunson. I mean, shout out to them for getting Brunson. That's a big deal. Carmelo Anthony, Amari Stoudemire era was a complete failure. Um, but I am still going to give the Knicks because of their ability. They're just because of the Jalen Brunson thing. I will give the Knicks. I gotta factor in the history of the past of before Brunson and them and how they were moving before then. I will give the Knicks low B tier. Just and they just got here. They just got here because of Jalen Brunson. They just got here. They would have been C or D if you asked me this 2 years ago. The Oklahoma City Thunder. Good lord. The Oklahoma City Thunder, man. I mean, look, they have the Supersonics, the Thunder. I mean, look, they don't have a championship in the past 25 years. But this is a well-run franchise. I mean, it absolutely is. I mean, they had the Ray Allen, Rashard Lewis era transition into a KD era where they was able to get Harden and Westbrook and KD and Baca, all that. Yeah, they made some mistakes along the way, like not paying Harden, which will deduct points from their status. You know what I mean? But they even transitioned from that to a Westbrook era to where they was able to get him a great storyline in the MVP, and then they got the Chris Paul and they traded for Shea, and they're just stocking all these picks. I mean, they got so many picks. I mean, if we're going off their future in their current organization and Sam Presti, what he has done, that he still has not gotten a ring. He could this should be a S tier team based off the amount of talent they had. But at the end of the day, I will give the Thunder They don't have that ring, but they might get it this year. I'm gonna give the Thunder A tier. I'm gonna give the Thunder A tier. I low key think that they did have KD, man. They got Shea now. If they don't get it done this year, who does that fall on? The players or the organization? Y'all let me know what y'all think. I think they're A tier team. A tier team for sure. I put them right above the Mavericks for the current day. Then we had the Orlando Magic. This is another team that if I could put I don't care, this is another team where I would just say I do not give a crap. Like I understand they're not the worst run franchise, man. They're not. But they're just always skating in mediocrity. I mean, they had the Dwight Howard era, and then he leaves them, and it's terrible. And now they're back in mediocrity. They have a okay, semi bright future. I mean, they have young assets, but I don't see them being any team that's really competing for anything. If you want to be honest, I mean, I'll have to put the Magic. I don't even know if I could put the Magic above the Clippers. You know what I mean? For the current day, I gotta get them C tier. I don't even know if I should put the Mavericks over the Hawks. I mean, but current day, they do have a solid future, but I'm not putting the Magic over the Hawks. I mean, it's a C tier franchise. They're not that good. This franchise has not made the best decisions. I mean, they're just skating and I know they got that one final appearance with Dwight. Like, I understand that was a good little run they had, but before that and after that, like we're not counting them Shaq years right now. Like we're not. That's not even part of it. And they fumbled with that. They didn't get a ring with the Big Diesel. So it's like, I'm sorry, I can't have them. I can't have them there. I mean, you had the Hawks make the Eastern Conference Finals the other year. You had the Bulls. I mean, if I'm being that objective, then the Bulls got to come down. If I'm bringing it to like much recent history too, the Bulls got to come down. The Bulls are not a great good run franchise. I'll put the Magic. It go Clippers, Hawks, Magic, Bulls, Nets. Yeah, this is terrible. Okay, good. Oh my gosh, my heart. These goddamn Sixers. I'm born in Philadelphia, born and raised in Philly, live in Charlotte now, but I was born and raised in Philly, man. And I must say this is one of the most disturbing franchises I've ever seen. I love these guys. I love the Sixers to death, but this team is the epitome of fumbling the bag. I mean, we had the era where AI never got him no help. Then we had our Iguodala era where we were actually making some eighth seed playoffs, and we made the second round of the playoffs one year. People forget that Iggy, Drew Holiday, Lou Williams team took the Boston Celtics with Ray Allen, KG, and Rondo them and Paul Pierce to a game 7. You know what I mean? And we blew that up for 5 years of 4 or 5 years of just terrible tanking, disgusting amounts of tanking, and we ultimately come out of it with a Joel Embiid who can't stay healthy. We ultimately came out of it with a Ben Simmons that can't shoot. Who's about to be out of the league soon. We ultimately came out of that tank era with a Markelle Fultz. Like, really? Like, we trade up for Markelle Fultz. I mean, we trade away Mikal Bridges for Zaire Smith, who's not in the league. I mean, we choose Tobias Harris over Jimmy Butler. We just signed Paul George at 34 to a 4-year contract. And the best players we got now is Tyrese Maxey, Jared McCain. These guys came during the seasons that we were winning 50 games. So the Sixers organization, I'm sorry, man. It's one of the worst. Seriously. I understand they make playoffs and have the MVP guy, but the amount of talent that has ran through this franchise, for them to still be just don't know what we're doing, like what's next for this team, we don't know. Like I feel like we're getting the talent and fumbling the team every time. Like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna be hard on this team. This is a terrible ran franchise. Terrible ran franchise. Just one of the worst things I've ever seen. We had so much talent come through our hands, and just like the Pelicans, so much talent come through, and it's just nothing, nothing. Can't stand this shit. We got the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns is another team where it's a lot like the Sixers. Like if we're doing recency history and we're being up to date, I mean, this is just not a great run franchise. I mean, you had a year where they made a finals run, and they completely disrespect Chris Paul in my eyes. Chris Paul came over to the Phoenix Suns and turned that franchise around, was a leader, a point guard, and they get rid of him for what? Bradley Beal, who don't even want to be there, and now y'all tied down to him forever. KD don't want to be there no more. Y'all, they I know that the league luxury, the league cap then changed, and they got hit with this restrictions to where now they got these three players with all this payment, but that's part of being an organization, man, where you got to budget your money and put it in the right places, and they definitely went way too top heavy, and now they can't even make a playoff team, and they don't have any picks for the foreseeable future. I don't know what they're doing. The only question is, are they better or worse than the Sixers? I would have to say yes, because god dang. Yo, you put it out there. Hell yeah, I had to put the Phoenix Suns. I had to put the Phoenix Suns. I mean, god dang, like they did make a finals run. I'll have to put the Phoenix Suns low C tier. Their future's not that bright right now. I understand they still got Booker, they got KD that they can trade away to get some assets. So I guess for that manner, I will give them a boost to maybe below the Clippers, because they do have the assets to be able to trade away. But if I'm moving with that logic, I'd also have to give the Sixers a boost because they have ass. No, they don't. Oh yeah, fuck out of here. The Sixers, please. Okay, the Suns. Yeah, I mean they can turn it around and trade KD off. They're stuck with Bill. Booker seems like he still wants to be there. For now, I put him in a C tier. Then we got the Portland Trailblazers. It's another one. Just who really cares? They overpaid DeAndre Ayton. He's stuck there. They traded off Lillard. Really had no choice but to do that. They did have the Lillard, Aldridge, Brandon Roy, and Batum, and all that era was solid. I respect that era. Very respectable era. It's a small market team, so I'm gonna give them some leeway because they're a small market, and I don't know what they're doing right now. Really, I don't. I can't tell. But as far as I know, they have a future. They have a chance because they're at the bottom of the league, but they have some young talent. They got some picks. I think they're trying to move in the right direction. Where exactly to place them, that's a hard question. I mean, they're among this mediocre box. So I guess I would put them below. I'd put them above the Magic just because they got Dame Lillard that run with Lillard, you know. And I do believe that since they're at the bottom and not in mediocrity, hence Magic and Bulls, I think they'll eventually get something going for themselves. But for now, I put them below the Magic, C tier team. The Sacramento Kings. This is another team that for a long time this would have been a D tier team, and honestly, they are sadly have fumbled the bag. They lost De'Aaron Fox, and they pretty much have the Bulls stimulus bet package of DeRozan and Zach Levine. Like, what are you guys doing here? But at the end of the day, they still got a lot of talent. They got Levine. They had to trade Fox. I'm not gonna give them that. They got Sabonis. They traded away Halliburton. Was that a good idea? I don't know. But Sabonis is a very great player. The Kings have right now a solid outlook. I think they're in that danger zone they're in that danger zone of mediocrity. But it's hard where I could rank the Kings at. I am actually gonna dare I say the Kings had 1 year where they was good. I mean, they're not that good of a franchise. I mean, let's just be for real. I mean, only reason the Suns are staying here is because their recent championship run. That's the only reason they're here. But the Kings are not that great. I mean, they have assets though. Do they have more assets than the Suns? DeRozan and Levine, how much assets are they? Like, I mean, for now, C tier. They got to make some moves. They got the potential to make some moves and raise their rank, but in the past it hasn't been done. I don't see it happening anytime soon. Let's be for real. San Antonio Spurs. I'm going to give the Spurs S tier. We all know. We all know about the Spurs, man. They had their tank era just now, and now they have Wimby. They got another top two pick. They had the rookie of the year last year. They got Chris Paul. They got De'Aaron Fox all of a sudden. I mean, this is they had the Kawhi Leonard's. They traded for Kawhi Leonard for George Hill. You know what I mean? Like this is a supreme franchise. If we're going past 25 years, I mean, even not even that far back. It's 2025. We go past 15 years. I'd have to put them past the Celtics. I mean, they have Wembanyama right now. We're doing. I mean, this franchise is excellently ran. I mean, these are the big three right now. I mean, this team's future is extremely bright. Let's be for real. Okay. The Toronto Raptors. I like what they did that 1 year with Kawhi. I really respect that. The Kyle Lowry DeRozan era was solid, and I do think the Raptors have some young talent that will soon be developed. They didn't make the playoffs this year. We're at the bottom of the league. I'm going to give the Raptors. And they're Canada. I'm gonna give the Raptors right above the Pistons. We have the Raptors right above the Pistons. I think their future's bright, but if we're going currently, um, nobody wants to play in Toronto. It seems like. I mean, I don't know how much of that is their fault. You literally had an era where people saying, "I'm not going there." You know what I mean? So that sucks for them as a city. And they did pull some teams together with Kyle Lowry and DeRozan and Kawhi coming and going, and they got a ring. So how much do I give them a credit for that? I think the Raptors will be fine. I'm gonna get a mid B tier team. I'm not gonna disrespect them completely. The Washington Wizards. Um, it's not much for me to say here. It's not much for me to say here. Utah Jazz. Utah Jazz. What is going? What's the Utah Jazz story? I mean, we had the Darren Williams era leading into mediocrity, leading back into Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert era, now leading back into more tanking again, and they're still in tank mode now. They got some new person, Danny Ainge, in there now, who was the architect of the Celtics. Um, they traded Gobert for a bunch of picks. The Jazz have a lot of assets, and I'm going to give them just as an organization, not their team, but as an organization, man, they have a bright future more than these teams behind them, most likely. This is where I'm at with it. This is where I'm at with it. I think these are the big three. I think these are some of the great franchises. And I believe these are some of the highly competitive franchises. And these are the teams that had a lot of talent and fumbled them. And fuck you guys. The Sixers. I mean, not you guys, of course. But yeah, this is my list, man. If y'all feel free to argue with me. I like to do it. talk to me where I might have messed up or any place I could have adjusted this list some more, and just let me know what y'all think about my list. Reek Network out. Like, comment, subscribe, share. I'm trying to make it. Let me do it.